I remember growing up and learning and enjoying the stories of Kris Kringle and the Easter Bunny, the religious histories, and waking up early in the morning to a new surprise. But what I don't recall much of learning about is Halloween and its origin and its history. Well, my name is Haley Windy, and during this presentation, I will be visiting the past of Halloween and how the celebration of the holiday can influence the understanding of it. There is a reason parents have raised children to believe the purpose behind Halloween is collecting candy and dressing up. The past of Halloween is not practiced like it once used to be. That is why I believe it is important to recognize the practice and origin of a holiday such as Halloween that we've grown up celebrating since the late 1800s. One of my favorite shows is American Horror Story, with the best season being Coven. And each time I watch it, I became more fascinated by the rising of the dead on Halloween and the stories they would tell each character. Around Halloween time, I wanted to learn more. So I will be discussing three topics concerning the history of Halloween. I'll be discussing the travel of Halloween to the United States and how Halloween has changed over the years. So starting with the origin of Halloween, as we can expect, it casts a dark shadow of practices not commonly practiced in the New World today. So Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. In an article diving deeper into the Celts, Lang explains that the Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, grew up in an area now known as Ireland, United Kingdom, Northern France, and they celebrated their new year on November 1st. So this day marked the end of summer's harvest and the beginning of a cold, dark winter, and it was a time that usually reflected death. So the Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. So on that night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain. It was believed when the ghosts would return from the dead. They practiced rituals such as animal and crop sacrifices. They would do fortune telling, and they would wear animal masks to ward off bad spirits. Things changed in about 43 AD when the Roman Empire captured much of the Celtic territory, however. History.com editors, in their fantastic article, write a review of the transition of the holidays practices when two festivals took place of what was once Samhain. They were called Ferilia and Pomona. Ferilia celebrated the passing of the dead, where Pomona honored the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The festivals were modified again in 1000 AD when the church declared the once Samhain festival All Souls Day, which changed to All Saints Day, which changed to Halloween-mas, to now Halloween. So when did it make its trip over to the United States? Well, Britt McGinnis in her article writes that Halloween gained popularity in the United States by the 1840s, and it was brought by a massive Irish immigration to escape the Irish potato famine. The first American colonists were forbidden to celebrate the holiday for religious reasons, though it enjoyed some popularity in the southern colonies. By the 1800s, fall festivals marking their seasonal harvest incorporated Halloween elements. So the custom of trick-or-treating, in which children dress up in costumes and solicit treats from neighbors, that became popular in the United States in the early 20th century from Irish and Scottish commuters. They would revive the old world custom of guising, which is when a person would dress in costume and tell a joke, recite a poem, or perform some trick in exchange for a piece of fruit or candy. Don Vaughn, in his article, led that by 1950, trick-or-treating for candy became one of Halloween's most popular activities. Additionally, Irish immigrants who introduced Halloween to America chose to carve pumpkins instead of turnips. And it wasn't until the 1960s that America would see the Howden pumpkin, which is the first pumpkin bred especially for Halloween carving. Over time, the pushes became inevitable for America to take away the evil elements of Halloween that make the holiday into more about candy than what it's really known for. So taking a look back into the past 100 years of Halloween in America proves how rapidly the holiday is changing. as well as what it may look like in the future. So, going back to McGinnis's article, she claims that in past generations, Halloween was concerned mostly with mischief and pranks. Later in those days, throwing cabbages and stealing garden gates were among the most popular shenanigans. Nowadays, well-known pranks such as toilet papering houses and egging houses can be followed by hefty fines. As popularity of Halloween gained stateside, unique methods of celebration began popping up, such as by the 1950s, Halloween parties were mostly held at homes instead of downtown centers, byproduct of the baby boom at the time, and the holiday became increasingly focused on children. If you were trick-or-treating in the 1940s or before, you would most likely receive a popcorn ball, nuts, fruits, or money. Manufactured and pre-wrapped candy actually didn't fully make it to the United States until the 1970s. Why? Well, because parents were worried about the potential tampering of handmade treats. And today, that concern still rises for razor blades and sharp nails found in candies. But what does Halloween look like in our future? Tan takes this interesting jab from an informative article based on a new internet service called Windstream. The company put together an infographic illustration about the night of Halloween in 2025, tricked out with smart devices that will change the way parents and kids trick or treat. For example, kids can use 3D printers to print their costumes and save parents' trips to the store. People could use virtual reality to tour a haunted house. For the parents, devices could monitor their kids' safety from afar, and health tracking apps can alert them when their kids have one too many sweets. That's crazy. But in summary, from Halloween now to Halloween 2,000 years ago, I believe it is important to recognize the practice and origin of a holiday such as Halloween we've been growing up celebrating since the late 1800s. During my speech, I expanded on the origin of Halloween with a brief history of how it traveled to America and how it is celebrated today. I hope you found entertainment through this presentation and a new appreciation and knowledge of Halloween, the true rejoicing of the living and the dead. Thank you.